So last week, obviously y'all played, one of, if not the best defense y'all played this year. How did you feel? Like, I thought y'all held up pretty well, except for one drive, maybe.
Well, there was actually two drives. There was a drive before the half and one the second half that I was really disappointed in. We gave up some pressure and pass protection that was really disappointing. But other than that, yeah, I thought we played well overall throughout the course of the game, except for those two drives. But I had a new center in the game, Cooper Fordham. Landon got hurt, so this was his first ever college start against some really good players, and I thought he did really, really well.
Like, what did y'all see now that he's played a little bit that gives you confidence that he could really take hold of that position in the future?
It's his confidence. He's a smart guy. He's got a high football IQ. His dad played in the NFL for 10 years, and so he's got that background. And even throughout the recruiting process, getting to know him and really fully understanding his entire set of skills. The mental part of it, the fact that how quickly and accurately he can ID things and direct the line. I was sold from the beginning on that, and he's proven to be a critical asset to us, given our unfortunate injury situation to Landon.
How was it? How tough was it recruiting him and getting him here?
Well, I wouldn't say it was tough. Him and his dad had a personal friend that played here, Jake Delhomme, obviously. So that was the connection, and so that kind of started the conversation of getting to know him and getting to know about him, and then went through there and turned on the tape and then started the process. Talking to the coach, evaluating the film, seeing him live, and just building that relationship.
What is the way that Monroe plays its defense totally different to where can you build on what y'all did against such a good, and the confidence that y'all had to gain a little bit, even though you didn't win the game against Troy? Carry that to this week.
Well, yeah, we definitely are. I think the biggest thing is Coop's confidence, getting that first ever college start out of the way, and everybody else's confidence in him to get the job done is a big thing. And that showed up in practice today. I thought it went really well today, and everything was in sync. And all the communication down the line was great. But in terms of the different styles of defenses, they're different. So there's different things we have to prepare for. So that's going to be a challenge. But in terms of our ability to adjust and adapt, I've got full confidence in that.
The running game, it's been, since Zion went out, different. It seemed like Arkansas State just put everybody in the box, and then y'all had the fumbling issues with the snaps against Southern Miss, and then Troy is Troy. So how do you kind of feel like, from an offensive line standpoint, where the running game is right now, and how important is that?
It's good at times, but then not good at times. And the inconsistency is what we've got to fix in the run game. The first half of the season was great. And then obviously you add Zion's skill set. People are going to play you a little bit differently than they are just, knowing that you're just going to hand the ball off every time. And obviously the game situations, dictate how many times, you can hand the ball up versus how many times you got to throw it. So those factors kind of play into things. But, the biggest thing that what we got to do from an offensive line standpoint is get more consistency. And not only just with the identification, all across the board, getting all players on the same page, not just us five, but with the tight ends, the running backs, but obviously the fundamental consistency and being able to go week by week by week, and not only block up the different fronts and different structures in the box, but being able to block up all the movement and all the different zone replace concepts and gap exchange concepts that are designed to be disruptive and create negative plays.
How much has Chandler's experience, now that he's played a few games here, helped your line in protection?
It's been awesome, and the biggest help has been with Coop, because at the end of the day, I've told Coop, hey, be decisive, call it how you see it. Chandler's going to make you right. And Chandler's been great. I mean, he's been great all spring. He was great all fall camp. Man, he's had a great attitude throughout this whole process, and he's really playing a lot like a veteran player should. And he stepped into his role as the starter, and it's been really good for the whole line in terms of being on the same page, everybody, in sync of what we got to do, how we're going to ID things, how we've got to adjust when the picture changes, so to speak. And so Chandler's been great.
For you as the position coach, I mean, you never want to have a guy go out with an injury, but, inserting a young guy in, have you found yourself being more hands-on, like spending like more time, like really getting into the, like, more of like almost like a teaching mode? Is that something that kind of gives you like a little jolt to be able to kind of maybe spend a little more time teaching as opposed to the guys that you have when you started the year who have already played a lot of football?
Well, the way we practice and our whole structure is designed to get a lot of our young guys a lot of reps, and it's designed to get those guys developed as fast as possible, just in case you do encounter these situations. And Coop, being a mid-year guy, he got all of spring practice, and he was here all through the summer. And so when we got done with recruiting last year and then started the whole process from January all the way to where we are now, he was involved in that from the ground floor. So his development, especially from a mental aspect and understanding our calls and our schemes and how we do things, it's been really easy for him just because he was here early.
King's gotten a few snaps now. How has he done?
He's done really well. He had an unfortunate injury back in the summer that's taken a while to get over. But, look, after spring ball, King was going to be in the mix. And, he was fighting for that starting role. And it's unfortunate that, he got hurt in the summer. And he's fought his way back. He's done everything he needed to do to get in position to help the team. And, he's played great. And obviously I've got to limit his snaps because he's still not 100%. But the snaps where he actually gets in the game, he plays really, really well.
Is this you mentioned movement, is this a movement defense or what is the challenge against?
Well, it's both different types of fronts and schemes within the box, how they line up creates communication issues, and you add the element of movement and how the different ways they get disruption, whether it be pressures inside versus outside, whether it be just gap exchange, the D-line moving. So these guys do a lot of good things on defense. I know their record really doesn't show it, but when you dive in the film and you watch it, they're a good football team, and they're well coached, and their scheme is really good, and they're really strategic in how they generate negative plays. And that's where this week for us, the challenge is going to be communication. Everybody has to be on the same page, or we're not going to get that consistency that is what we need to get back to efficiently be able to run the football.
Are there units on ULM's defense that they're maybe have made some strides and improvements in from last year's group?
I really like the front seven. I think they do a good job. They got some good players up front. They play hard. That whole front seven, the D linemen and the linebackers have really impressed me.
What did they do last year? Obviously we talked to Des after the game last year, but when you guys maybe have gone back and looked at that game from last year up there, like what did they do so well defensively against you guys offensively that kind of kept you guys from, I know you started the game really fast and then it just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing last year was, turnovers, throughout the game. That was the biggest issue. It wasn't just that we weren't in sync with everything. It's just, we didn't take care of the football in critical situations, and that's why we fizzled out. And so, in terms of the schematics of it, I really haven't locked into too much of that. I've moved forward and really focused on what they're doing this year.